little details. The go live button doesn't show until I hit start streaming, but then the program yells at me for hitting the wrong button. So there's no
Yell.
winning.
I thought you were about to say there's no witnesses. Like, oh God, what are we committing?
Only the finest of crimes.
Do gay, be crime. I mean, yeah, that's what I mean.
You've heard of fine dining, get ready for fine criming.
Fine criming with Satan and Jay.
I know so much about crime. Ask me anything.
I have committed at least a few crime.
Sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
Oh, I said I have committed at least a few crime.
My existence, some would argue, is a crime, so as far as I'm concerned, I can just ride on that coattail for forever.
Well, I mean, you're right, but shit. Same. We are illegal in so many countries.
So many. I should get out a punch card, and then they'll owe me a froyo.
They owe you a froyo for being
Yep.
illegal. I'm here for it. Like, yes, Russia owes me froyo.
This is my next campaign, my next greatest cause.
Demanding Putin personally give you froyo.
I don't know if I want to see Putin, but I'll gladly take his froyo.
I'll take his froyo and his bears.
The bears will hand me the froyo, and this is how peace will be brokered between our nations.
You know, we do choose the bear over the man, so
Yep. Alrighty. So there's a thing we're gonna start doing, where we say chapter intros. So, 22 seconds later, written by Unda, voice acted by Nerdhilistic, Jay, and Satan. Chapter 9. Because normally we don't say chapter titles, and I will need those for my editing project I'm starting.
editing project.
So
I
once
don't
we
know
get
why
to
I sang that.
listen, life deserves to be sung.
I do. Life is a musical because I say it is.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm doing narration for this one.
Yes, sir.
All right. Everything that happened with Winter is all over the news, local and national. Through some miracle, no citizens of Salem died. Everyone was just frozen or stuck inside where they could keep warm. So just, horribly traumatized. That's definitely better, probably. On the plus side, class is canceled tomorrow. So every cloud has a silver lining or whatever. You have to field a phone call from your mother to tell her what happened and what you all did. She approves of your use of June's powers and seeking safe haven in the summer claimed library. She also seems pleased that Carcat was so defensive of you and everyone else. You suppose it's been a while since she was able to see how Carcat actually operates.
So, what you're telling me
She says as you explain everything.
is that he's a biblically accurate book nerd? Yes, I suppose that is what I'm telling you.
You confirm.
Damn, I really like that. Take pics next time he's like that. I want to see.
Your mom says eagerly.
He's really sweet, Mother. He's not any danger to us at all. I already told you that Matuna adopted him. I know you were worried, which is understandable given how that species tends to be, but he's fine.
You reassure her.
Don't assume shit. You've always got to be on your guard.
She tells you firmly, the paranoia again.
On that topic, the contents of that box was a belt with bags of holding on it that had my blood on them, like I'd made them.
You begin.
Huh.
Your mom says, slow and thoughtful.
And a magically woven blanket that Kanaya thinks she may have made, designed to hide me, likely as an infant.
You continue.
Uh,
Your mom says, and the line cuts dead. Flawless subterfuge. When you go to bed, Carcat is still not home, and when you wake up, there's a note on the floor just outside of your door.
Rose, I know I said that we'd go together, but Kanaya and Ms. Paint wanted help getting ice out of awkward bits of the library building. I should be back by lunch and then we can go together. I also left you my target hand I also left you my tarot handout on the table in case you wanted to start reading.
You notice that Carcat hasn't signed his name, which could be psychologically interesting when it comes to a matter of identity, or it could be that he didn't feel the need to tell you who was leaving notes as the only other person in your shared dorm. You open a new box of toaster pastries and heat some up as you look over the handout from class. You have your own, but it's in your notebook that's presently in Carcat's possession. He must have left you his copy so he could keep your notebooks for a while longer. Still, this is nice of him. Thoughtful. You hate to compare him, but it's a lot like he used to be. Returning to your room with your toaster pastries, you settle in to look at this belt. A belt of holding, perhaps? What purpose do the individual bags hold? Surely there's a reason that they're separated out, and surely the card signs on the outside mean something, or means things. Sorry.
No worries.
I'm doing my best. Carcat's version of this sheet has little notes scrawled in the edges, though weirdly they're just names. Names of people you know. Carcat had that dream before, didn't he? The one where you noticed that there were a lot of tarot symbolism. There are 4 card notes with your name, Dave's, Selix's, and your mother's name. One of the card pictures on this sheet has angry eyebrows drawn on it and agitated little intrabangs near it. That one is the Knight of Cups, perhaps Carcat's own card. Okay, think
Real quick,
laterally from.
that's pronounced interrobangs.
Oh, and tarot bangs, my bad.
Go
Do you
from
want me
there.
to reread that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to read, man.
Words are silly and made up.
Man, romantic. One of the card pictures on this sheet has angry eyebrows drawn on it and agitated little interrobangs near it. That one is the Knight of Cups. Perhaps Carcat's own card. Okay, think laterally for a moment. You need to know what's in a bag of holding to get it out, but you don't know what's in here. So instead, perhaps the objects are summoned by these cards representations of people. You move to the Knight of Cups pouch and then decide that it's a little too dark in here to see all the details on the gold tarot embossing. Standing up, you lean over your desk to open your curtains, letting the sunlight stream in onto your desk. Much better. You can see the belt clearly now. All right, the Knight of Cups. That is good of a place to start as any. You sit down and open the top of the pouch. You put your hand inside and think of Carcat. Though that's an interesting question, isn't it? Which Carcat is Carcat? Are you going to hold the actual Carcat who is around right now in your mind, as he is still here? He's a valid Carcat no matter what he fears. Nothing comes to your hand, and you pull it out empty. Perhaps you're thinking along the wrong lines here. Perhaps, oh, you don't know. Frustrated, you lean back. Black? Frustrated. You lean back in your chair and narrow your eyes at the belt as it sits in the sunbeam on your desk. It's so. Wait, what's that? You lean forward in a hurry and peer the pouch again. Lit up in the sunlight, you can just see the faintest line on the leather at the bottom of the pouch. You run a fingernail over it and find, yes, the slightest groove there. A seam, almost. An idea dawns on you. These are tarot cards, and those can have 2 meanings, can't they? You pick up the belt and turn it upside down, reversing every card on it. The weight of the leather shifts slightly, and now that seam is a little bit more visible. It's a secret compartment. You pick at the line on the Knight of Cups pouch for a moment, and yes, the thing opens up again from the other end. You feel outrageously smart, and there's no one around to see it. To your side, your phone pings at you.
Carcinogeneticist began trolling. Oops, sorry. Purple for me.
You're good. Oh,
Can
purple's you. My bad. I'm sorry, hon.
no worries. Can we go from to your side?
Yes. To your side, your phone pings at you.
Carcinogeneticist CG began trolling tentacle therapist TT. Hello, Rose. I'm just letting you know that I'm fine. Don't worry. Carcinogeneticist CG ceased trolling tentacle therapist TT.
That's very odd. Though you suppose that you did tell him that you worried when he didn't let you know where he was. This is likely him trying to accommodate you. Weird. He's offline now. Okay, well, whatever. Back to your genius discovery. You put your hand into the reversed Knight of Cups pouch, and something smacks into your fingers before you can even think too hard about Cardcat at all, though you suppose he was already on your mind. Taking your hand out, you see that it's a flash drive with Play Me written on it in your handwriting. This seems suspicious as all hell, but you're sure that it's not cursed. You don't dwell on how many people may have thought that You don't dwell on how many people may have thought that before throughout history. Instead, you dig your laptop,
Laptop.
laptop. One second, I'm gonna drink my beverage real quick, and then I'm gonna keep reading.
Good beverage time.
We just started, and I'm already like, "What's up? I'm Jared. I'm 19, and I don't know how to read."
'Tis the curse of voice actors everywhere.
It is. Listen, in my defense, I got ADHD and autism and all these other issues, and sometimes words don't word right.
Words optional.
Words optional. I'm here to speak through screaming.
Ah! Caca!
Ah! Just cue like fucking R2D2 noises. Okay, where the fuck was I? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Instead, you dig your laptop out from your mess of a room and turn it on. You plug the flash drive in and open the drive. There is one video file in it and nothing else. You hit play. What you see on screen is you. Not your reflection on the screen, but the video is you, and yet it isn't. That looks like you, but your hair doesn't look like that. It's not purple at the ends, but you kind of wish it was. You don't recognize the background behind you. The apartment is unfamiliar. You pause it at the first second to get a look. It seems nice, your style, but certainly not your mother's home or this dorm. Behind you is the backdrop of a loft style apartment with your back facing a railing and then the distant wall behind you. There's no clue as to where this is, but only that it's your style. You play the video and let it run.
I'm sure that you have a lot of questions, but I know that you also remember from our visions that there's only so much information you can get before what you know ends up diverting the path of fate. You absolutely cannot risk any diversions at all, and as such, what I can tell you is incredibly limited.
Other you says, waving one hand a little as she talks.
I am trying to prevent an impossibly large disaster from taking place, and I set this belt up to enable myself to do just that. However,
She says, and flexes the hand that she had been gesturing with.
you have fallen into what has been dubbed the darkest timeline. I have my issues with the name because it's not. Well, anyway. The point is that if you are watching this, then things have already gone off the rails dramatically. The train is careening downhill towards an innocent village of orphans or something. Wow, what am I saying?
That was quite the tangent, even for your family.
A lot of the things that I had planned for aren't going to come to pass, and I find it incredibly difficult to see into your timeline. It's very distant from my own, and
Your finger is on the spacebar as you squint at the video. You just saw something. You click backwards about 5 seconds and watch. Other Rose goes on that tangent, and yes, you just saw something shift behind her. As she moved, you see something shift in the reflection on the railing behind her. You can't make out what it is thanks to the distortion of the rail, but it's something black and white, and it's not a stationary part of the background. Nor is it her. That might be a person, in which case she isn't alone, and whoever this is remains deliberately off camera.
A lot of the things that I had planned for aren't going to come to pass, and I find it incredibly difficult to see into your timeline. It's very distant from my own, and I can only glimpse snippets and do my best to work out what information or items I can provide you with to help you steer you to a better conclusion. To help steer you to a better conclusion. I'm just going to take that again.
You're good. We're both having a day.
Oh, such a day. It's very distant from my own, and I can only glimpse snippets and do my best to work out what information or items I can provide you with to help steer you to a better conclusion.
She says. She's only moving one hand, and the other remains stubbornly off screen in the direction of whatever that is in the reflection.
I do know at this point that the box has returned to you from Winter. I know that you're aware of Jake Harley. I know that Karkat has changed. You know about June. This is not an ideal situation. That is rather underselling it, actually. In the timeline, in the one I'm hoping for, you have Karkat to help you.
She says uneasily.
I still have Karkat.
You whisper pointlessly.
But you don't.
She says as if she heard you.
Karkat is my... Karkat is my... He's my Moirail. I know how that must sound, and good luck working through that mess, but I need you to understand me when I tell you this. I need you to understand how much it hurts me to say what I need to say to you.
Moirail? But no. What? Other you leans in closer to the camera, staring you down through the lens.
You cannot trust Karkat Ventus.
She says, deadly serious. You physically recoil at the idea.
Your Karkat is not himself. He's not the Karkat that I know. He's not the Karkat that the timeline I'm aiming for needs. He is missing vital parts of himself, and until and unless he is fixed, he cannot be trusted. I am not saying this to be cruel or uncaring. What I mean to say is that your timeline is incredibly fragile. It could fall into unsalvageable disaster with the slightest mistake, and your Karkat is vulnerable in so many ways. If he knows too much, then you are all doomed. Your reality is doomed.
She insists. She leans back in her chair and presses a fist to her mouth as she collects herself for a moment before speaking again.
There are a great many opportunities to help him, and as a person, he is still trustworthy. Different from my Karkat, but still.
She pauses for a second and her eyes flick just to the left of the camera before coming back.
There are several paths where Karkat Ventus destroys the world, the universe, everything. You cannot let that happen, obviously. As such, I've filled this belt with I've filled this belt with as many things as I can think of to help. There is a far greater chance for a positive outcome than a negative one. They're all debatably worse than the timeline I'd planned for, but they're there.
You can't believe what you're hearing.
So, I know what I'm like and how I think. I'm sure that you'll be mistrustful of me, both because I know what you're like, and we both know how seeing the future works, how sometimes you need to hear or see the right thing to do the right thing. You probably think that I'm misleading you to achieve that, and there's nothing I can say to that without going down in infinite layers of bluffing that'd be a pointless waste of everyone's time.
The word hangs weirdly, like it echoed oddly in her home.
Nevertheless, I have advice for you. First, try to get to the supplies that I've packed you. You've already worked out the mechanism, but some of them are temporally locked, so you won't get them until the right moment, which was a pain to do. Secondly, obviously, don't tell Karkat about this. Thirdly, try to speedrun your sexuality crisis if you can, because you really, really don't have the time.
She lists off. You could scream. You think that you might do it anyway.
Beyond that, get the sword, make sure your father is dead, and don't let Karkat dabble in cannibalism. But, good fucking luck with that. With all of that.
She finishes. Whatever is reflected in the railing moves. You think that's an arm and a hand moving around. Other you rolls her eyes.
I hate that I'm saying this as much as you do, believe me.
She begins with despair.
But it's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your angel is?
Sorry, I was trying not to laugh.
I mean, hey, Karkat laughs at it. You're in good company.
I am. It makes me giggle. There's a fraction of someone else's laugh as the video cuts. This time, it is just your face reflected in your screen. You scramble for your phone and stare at it. Karkat is offline still. You call him and it immediately goes to voicemail. Oh no, 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 no. You sprint up to your brother's dorm and unlock the door as you throw yourself at it.
We need to find Karkat right now!
You shout in terror.
Man, Rose is having a good time. Also, hello, Onyx.
Oh, hello. I was just giggling because goes down to like who we're playing in the next bit, and you accidentally wrote Kakri.
I did.
Kakri.
A cursed combination of Karkat and Kankri.
Oh God.
There weren't enough
God, that was
cursed combinations, so I'm glad I can provide this valuable service to the world.
Oh yeah, we need more cursed combinations. I accidentally had keys in my pocket. And Kylie took it with their mouth. Okay.
They have a certain skill.
Yeah, and then they shook it like a dog. You good there, hon? Okay.
Yes, so Onyx is a
How
person who's in several of the Podfix servers that I joined recently, so
Oh, hello.
I don't think they even know Homestuck, but they're just vibing. Good to see it.
Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just here to have a good time.
Yeah.
I just scrolled down because I was trying to figure out how much. I don't think there's that much left in this bit. So do you want me to just keep narrating until I can no longer narrate?
That's our usual pattern, so let's stick with it.
Okie dokie artichoke. You feel like you're doing a good job, just in general, but also at your actual job. Talking with Rose actually really helped. You're not thinking about it. Not thinking about it. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Whatever. It's fine. You feel better. You managed to not say anything revealing about how Dave and June fucked up time. You managed to protect the library. You have communicated with Rose. It's good. You're doing good and doing well. You also left her a note because she mentioned before how not knowing where you were made her uneasy. So you're trying to be considerate of that. She's making an effort with you, so you should return the favor.
Thank you so much for helping to de-ice the last of the library for me, Karkat.
Miss Paint says to you sweetly and pats your head.
No problem.
You chirp, pleased at the positive reinforcement. It's probably pretty telling that being told that you're doing a good job is a novel feeling for you. You're the most demoted throne ever for a reason, after all.
I'm going to go get Rose and return some books so we can get more out. So I'll see you soon, probably.
You tell her brightly.
If you keep that up, then you'll read every book in the library before too long.
Miss Pink chuckles.
I will.
You tell her certainly.
I'm very sure that you should hold off on some of those for a while, but I appreciate the enthusiasm nonetheless.
She says with a smile. You wave and head out of the library. Matuna is waiting by the door. He's curiously looking at the boundary between the inside and the outside of the library. You guess that he's trying to work out how the magical edges of the building work. You done? He asks when he sees you.
Yeah, I'm going back to get Rose now.
You answer. Matuna inclines his head towards the doorway, implying that he's going to walk you back. Something that you don't really need. You don't mind it, though.
I was talking to Rose last night about angels and demons, and I realized something.
You say, and Matuna looks at you curiously.
I don't think you've ever mentioned Latula to Kanaya and Porum.
Matuna's expression twists in terror, and he squeaks in a quick and frightened voice. Look, don't tell them.
Why?
You ask. Because it'd be bad, Matuna answers.
Why?
You press. It's complicated. Just don't talk about it, he insists.
But why?
You ask again. Can we not play the infinite why game, please? Matuna begs.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'll stop when you tell me why you want me to not say about her. It's really easy, actually.
You smile. Matuna is not as amused as you are about your clever point. Me and Silas were in love. I never stopped loving him, but Matuna trails off.
But he's dead, and you were stuck in hell.
You point out. I know. Matuna snaps at you, and it hurts a little that he's angry with you. You don't like that. You care about his opinion of you.
But Porum and Kanaya love you. We're family.
You say in an effort to reassure him because that always reassures you. I don't deserve it, Matuna says in a rush and then vanishes. Could you understand that? Or do I need to do it again?
I think I understood it, but go ahead. There's nothing wrong with more takes.
Okay. I don't deserve it, Matuna says in a rush and then vanishes. Oh, it looks like you're walking back to the dorm by yourself after all. You're pretty sure that your grandmother wouldn't want Matuna to be unhappy. It must have been a long 2,000 years, right? He wouldn't have known that he was going to get out ever, let alone that he would get free when he did. She'd be okay with that, even if Latula isn't her son, right? But is that true, or are you just projecting the belief that no one should think anything bad about Matuna ever? It'd be smart to talk to him about this when he's not so upset. You walk along and think, deciding to at least message Matuna to apologize. How do you word that? How? Dumbly, you think of asking Rose, but you're not doing that. And besides which, she doesn't seem to be online yet. What do you do? What do you do? You pace about a bit and try to think. You can't just keep running back to Rose. She's not your Moira, no matter how much it feels right whenever you talk to her for any length of time. You know that you're taking advantage. Every time you look inwards, you hear about it, and what's worse is that you agree. A voice startles you, but what gets you more is the true name that you hear underneath the syllables. Or syllable, just the one. Ka? That ought to be a question mark, since the speaker sounds unsure or uncertain, but there's a name there. It doesn't quite register. Not quite yours. You don't catch it, but it's familiar. You turn and look. You know that face. Eridan. Eridan Ampora. Creation of Kronos Ampora. In a flash, you come to a decision. You just need a little more information to know what to do. With one hand behind your back, you shoot Rose a message to reassure her and turn your phone off.
Do I know you? Sorry, something happened with my memory lately, and I've forgotten a lot.
You say innocently. Don't tell me what happened. Are you okay? I've been looking for you everywhere. Eridan asks and steps closer to you.
I'm fine, I think, a little freaked out. How do we know each other? There's some things I can't say.
You say very warily as you play a lot dumber than you are. Eridan sighs in relief and smiles. He nudges you closer to a wall and lowers his voice. You remember what you are then? I wasn't sure before. I came looking for you, but I didn't think you recognized me. Maybe you didn't. You're in a lot of danger, though, Ka. That's. Oh, there's that name again. It's not your name, but it kind of is. It's a nicer sounding version of your name. If you translated it, then it could be what Sullix called you. He knows you, and you want to know everything that he knows. You have questions, and you want answers. A memory flickers to the surface as you mentally plunge your hand into Cancre's little cage. Now there's an idea.
I know what I am. If you're the same, then you're dangerous. I shouldn't be near you.
You say warily, not faking that, because this guy could kill you if you let him, if you gave him a chance to. You won't be doing either, but still. No, I would never hurt you, Eridan promises.
Then
You hesitate.
vow about it. That's a thing we can do. Vow that you won't hurt me. Ding.
You say and hold your hand out to him. Really, this is on him at this point.
I'm glad you agree.
Ka, seriously? Eridan laughs, but you keep your hand where it is. Fine, I agree to your vow. He laughs and takes your hand, and the vow snaps in place around both of you.
I feel much better now.
You smile at him. Come on, let's go back to mine, and I can tell you everything in private without that stupid spell catching us. You know how to fly, right? Eridan asks, lowering his voice on the word.
Sure.
You say, and vanish from mortal view.
I can do this, too.
Oh, good. You didn't forget everything. Come on, Eridan says, and does the same. He spreads his multiple set of wings and takes to the sky. You follow him easily, since his place is only across the other side of Salem. He lets you in, and you mentally eye the anti-demon wards as you go in. You scratch through them magically, just in case Matuna pops in to find you or Sullix shows up. You wouldn't want either of them hurt. I was so worried about you. I've been looking for you for ages, Eridan says as he hangs up his coat.
What made you come looking for me? Are we friends?
You wonder, and fall onto his sofa like you own the place. Well, you may as well. Still a million questions about everything. You haven't changed at all. Eridan chuckles.
Yeah?
You ask innocently, because the other possible responses would absolutely arouse suspicion. Eridan sits down on the sofa with you and looks at you with warmth in his expression. He's relieved that he's found you.
Why do you keep calling me that? Car?
You ask, only able to replicate the human sound of it and not the meaning. Eridan echoes it back to you, but with a name attached. You repeat it slowly, but it feels unfamiliar in your mouth, but also a bit like you too. It's odd. It's your name, Eridan tells you. You raise an eyebrow and say your actual name, but you note with interest how it makes Eridan wince. You hadn't expected that. It's been a long fucking time since I've heard you say that without being compelled to, he says, and sounds unhappy about it.
Why's that?
You wonder. Because it's a fucked up thing to name a person. I can't speak ill of the guy who gave you that name, but it's awful. I have to use it sometimes, but never when it's just us. You said the old one was kind of dead to you. You came up with this one with someone else, but it wasn't in angelic, he says, but you interrupt.
Signless. Signless helped me make a new name.
You guess. You remember him? But yeah, I translated it, and unless I've got to call you by the other one, I use this. It sounds the same spoken if I say it with the full human sounds in whatever language, but when I was first helping you make it click, it was easier to stick it to a nickname, Aridin explains. You thought that no one tried to stop what happened to you, but maybe you were wrong, assuming Aridin is even telling the truth. You can't be sure just yet, and you want to know what he's willing to tell you first.
Wow.
You whisper, and it's genuine. It's okay. I know this must be a lot, Aridin says, and rests his hand on your arm.
So, we were friends?
You ask uncertainly. Of course we were, he tells you softly. That sounds nice.
Where were you the last 5 years then?
You ask. Ugh, you were always off down here on your little missions and secret things, Aridin says, and there's that dismissive tone that you expected. At first I thought you'd come back, but then everything was in such chaos that I thought you were laying low or maybe Cancri had you. I didn't go looking, it'd be too dangerous.
For who?
You wonder. Break time.
Break time.
Break time.
Give me a break of that break time.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
So we take 15-minute breaks, and we extend that out to longer. And so we will meet back. We're gonna say it's 40, which means we will meet back at 55.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Thank you. Catch you later.
Yeep, talk to you in a bit.
In the meantime, we will listen to music. We're listening to the LoFi Girl, because in this AU, this is an AU of Homestuck in which they are college students. That's sort of a minor fact about the world, but since they are students for any length of time, I thought LoFi Girl would be an appropriate break time music. So that's why we do that. See you around later.
Hello. Hello. Oh, are you muted again?
Dang it. I totally was.
Well done. Getting heckin' cozy.
Snuggly in a ruggy.
Yeah, I feel like it's always how it goes. Like first half of the stream, it's like, ah, yes, I'm gonna sit upright and I'm gonna be so professional. Second half, I am under blankets. I am so toasty.
I have acquired a blanket to wrap around myself as well.
Hell yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, as word starts to do the thing again. Also, I'm assuming Onyx hasn't listened to any of the other streams because long, meaning they just jumped in and don't know what's going on.
Yep. And they left because they had to go record, but they said they'd be back if we were still here, but I don't know how much longer we're gonna go. We never know until we do it. What you gonna do?
True enough. True. All right, you ready to start?
Ready to start, and since you are voicing a lot of people, I figure I'll take narrator at least to start.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wah. Wah.
Wah.
What? Do you hear that? Stay here. I don't want you getting hurt.
Aridin says as he gets to his feet. You do, in fact, hear that. It sounds a lot like two demons, two humans, one god, a hellhound, and a fae, all sprinting up a narrow staircase. You know, if you had to guess. It's a pretty easy guess. Aridin's wings flare out as he pulls a holy sword from his chest with one hand and a magical scepter with the other, a little unnecessary. They all burst through the door, and Aridin prepares to attack, surely intending on killing them all. In fact, you know that's what he wants to do. That's so hurtful. Aridin's attempt to murder nearly everyone you love is cut short as he immediately doubles over and hacks up a lungful of purple blood. I told you I was fine, you remind Rose, who is looking between you and Aridin in terror and confusion.
What?
Aridin chokes out.
The fuck?
Can I get that one again? That was airy.
Sorry, my bad. One second. I need to Selex's voice for a moment.
Yeah.
It's always hard to get into Selex's voice when there's no S's. Okay, Selex's voice. The fuck?
Solix asks with wide eyes.
Hurt. That's not. That vow doesn't mean anything.
Aridin says, and then winces because that probably hurt.
You made a vow?
Matuna asks sharply and looks at you. Hey, don't look at me like that. I had no choice. Would you rather I let a seraphim that knew me just wander around? You say defensively.
I vowed not to hurt you. That's not defined enough to do anything. And I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to.
One more time, the first "I vowed not to hurt you" got swallowed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I vowed not to hurt you. That's not defined enough to do anything. And I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was trying to.
Aridin wavers as the vow clearly makes its threat known before actually acting. "That's not what I said," you tell him. Aridin holds out his arm as proof. In Angelic, the agreement to not hurt is just one character. You suppose that Aridin looks as well as he listens. "I said, vow that you won't hurt me, asterisks," you say, and the vow glows on his arm as you speak it.
Oh, what was that?
Matuna asks after a second.
His voice just.
Satan agrees. Damn it.
Did you just say Satan agrees?
Yeah.
I do agree.
Listen, we're all just standing around this looking at Carcat going, what the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
Solix
Come
agrees
get
slowly.
your dog. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I will let you repeat that.
Yee. Solix agrees slowly. Horror dawns on Aridin's face as he scrabbles at his arm and manages to unfurl the details in your vow so it spreads out over his skin in smaller print and fills his arm, goes up his shoulder and up to his neck. You could read it yourself if you wanted to, but you know what it says. "I, the recipient of the vow, vow to not cause any hurt or harm to the creator of this vow. Hurt is defined as any action, deed, inaction, word, gesture, or other forms of communication that the creator of this deal finds unpleasant, painful, upsetting, or displeasurable in any way, shape, or form. The creator of this vow reserves the right to redefine and amend this vow without renegotiation or reagreement indefinitely. I, the recipient of this vow, understand and accept these terms and revoke my right to seek renegotiation, recompense, or release from this vow unless deliberately and freely removed by the creator of this vow. Attempts to break this vow and to cause harm to the creator of this vow, as defined above, will be punishable by blood and, at will, death."
The fuck is that? Okay, yeah, he's not any danger to anyone or anything. Fuck me, you can even make this work if he thought something bad.
Matuna says in shock.
Would you learn to do that? That's a nasty trick. Wow.
Sorry, can I get that one more time?
Yeah, did it swallow it or did it just get funky?
It swallowed it. It like sometimes it will just take words that you say and like turn them into like kind of a maybe like a brown noise is the term.
Oh boy, okay, yeah. Here, 1 second. Sullick's voice, I got this. How'd you learn to do that? That's a nasty trick. Wow.
Solix agrees.
Who are you? You're not Carcat, the only person who could do that.
Aridin is tragically cut off by hacking up blood. You get up onto your knees and lean over on the sofa, your hands on the arm nearest him. "Yeah, my maker used to do that. He used to do it to me, which means that you knew about that and did nothing about it. I don't believe that you are my friend because I'd never leave my friends to that. But I'd be really hurt by you lying to me or trying to get your maker down here." You hiss at him.
You can't override an order from my maker.
Aridin coughs.
You can be too dead to follow it, though.
Mituna points out.
This isn't really the rescue situation I thought this was going to be.
Dave says finally. I'm sorry, you say unhappily. I recognized him and he knew me. I couldn't let him lead anyone back to any of you. I just did what I could think of to protect everyone.
I get that. The blood is kind of sketching me out, so I'm going to go stand just in the doorway if that's cool.
Dave says, and shuffles out of Aridin's apartment, though you can see his shoulder as he leans against the doorframe.
Let me see that properly.
Solix says and moves to look at Aridin. Aridin tries to back away from Solix and yanks his arm back like he might hit Solix for trying to touch him.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Mituna warns Aridin lightly. What do we do now? I'm glad that Karkat is okay, but I didn't plan on but I didn't plan on bonus evil angel. June says and looks at Aridin. Solix is currently reading his arm closely and looks deeply unhappy about all of it. I need to know what he knows, what heaven knows, you reason. I understand that, but that still means that we need a plan from here, Karkat. We can't stay here, surely. Rose says, and you agree with that. Who knows if his maker comes here or not? You do not want to be around if Kronos shows up, that's for sure.
Ona is right. He can't do anything with this on him. We could just kill him. I have the knife still. It seems better than keeping him stuck in this. Not that it wasn't a smart plan. I'm happy you're fine, but keeping someone like this kind of creeps me out.
Solix says with a shudder. No. Are you telling me that you really don't want to know what heaven knows? He was looking for me. Are you saying that you don't want to know why, or who else he could be looking for? You challenge Solix and glance ever so quickly in the direction of the door, the one that Dave is hidden behind. Solix grimaces. Yeah, when he's going around with the oblivious Antichrist, it's kind of a good idea to know if heaven is aware of that.
Ka, watch your mouth.
Aridin warns you. Don't lecture me, you snap. You hate that.
I get what you're saying. We need to be smart. Sure.
Solix agrees, as if Aridin hadn't said anything. We need to know so much. I've got so many questions. I mean, to start with, do they know about Cancri being dead? Aridin tries to interrupt you, but you get all of the way through the word dead before he can. Aridin lunges at you and claps a hand over your mouth. Solix and Mituna, throwing themselves at him, topples you completely to the floor. Aridin throws a hand out and a communication spell flares up in one hand as he twists so only the blank floor is behind his head. Cronus answers, and everyone else freezes in terrified silence.
Hi, boss, it's me.
Aridin says in a compelled rush.
The fuck do you want, Aridin? I'm busy.
Cronus asks dismissively. A hiss of anger builds up behind your teeth, but Aridin's hand tightens on your face, warning you to stay quiet.
I wanted to know if you'd heard anything more about what's happening down here.
Aridin asks, but that's not actually why he called, even if that is technically an answer to the question that Cronus asked. It's something he wants, but not the actual reason.
I don't care what's happening down there, so I don't know. I care about finding out what happened to Cancri and finding Karkat. Have you seen Karkat Vantus?
Cronus asks, and Mituna grips onto your arm tightly, like Cronus might yank you away from him just by name alone.
I haven't seen Karkat Vantus. If I had, then I'd have to tell you. You literally gave me no choice, so I don't know why you're asking.
Aridin answers him, pronouncing every part of your angelic name ever so carefully. Even the human syllables sound a little different to how he pronounces car when he says it.
And thank you for wasting everyone's time. Great job, Chief.
Cronus drawls and cuts the line.
Your goddamn nightmare to my sanity core.
Aridin groans and takes his hand from your mouth so he can drag it down his own face in frustration.
How did you...
Solix starts.
Shut up. Say his name again.
Mituna says, addressing Aridin as he elbows Solix aside without looking at him. He manages to elbow him in the ear, which looks pretty unpleasant to you.
And for the sake of being nice and not hurtful, can you two get off of me?
Aridin asks it through gritted teeth, but he doesn't actually insult or attack them, so it's probably fine.
That was not the right accent. It's not the right voice. That was an angelic name. I heard it.
Solix says.
Yeah, one that more or less translates into the demonic one you gave me. He's got two names. One you think of as real enough to be able to lie to your maker's face about it.
Mituna says slowly. So the other one's like a dead name, June concludes. How can a name be dead? Names have power, Jade points out, who you guess would have more of an opinion on that than the others. June makes a kind of awkward noise, and you don't really care so much about what that's about right now. You might come back to it later because you want to know what she knows. You want to know what everyone knows, just as a general thing. Aridin, however, is more important right now. You're not the only one who thinks so.
Hey, make him tell the truth. We need to know something.
Solix says, leaning forward to flick you on the forehead with a claw tip. With a thought, you modify the vow. It's easy enough to do.
Complete honesty with everyone you care about, and you? Wow, that honestly makes me really upset.
Aridin hisses at you.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Probably dial that back later. Whatever. How long have you been covering for him?
Solix asks.
Since I met him the day after he was made. He's always been in trouble.
Aridin answers a little unwillingly.
Huh.
Solix says thoughtfully.
Have you ever heard of this guy?
Mituna asks Solix.
Nope. But I did wonder how KK got away with the shit he did for that long. I figured it was just the spineless stuff. I don't know why he wouldn't mention him, though, even vaguely.
Solix wonders. Maybe I couldn't talk about Aridin, but I can't see why. You falter and look at Aridin warily. Will saying the name make you call him again?
Don't tell blah 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 blah. I know how to do voices.
All good.
Sorry. 1 second. Okay, I am doing another drinky drink, and then I will continue to try to do things.
Such is the way.
I just realized that my mug and my water bottle, which are side by side, are pink and green, and it's just like Cosmo and Wanda.
The perfect combo.
That perfect combob. Okay, let's try this again. Don't tell me anything about what happened to your maker, where he is, how alive he is or isn't, or anything like that. Him as a concept is fine. Probably don't make any threats, or that'll get tricky.
Aridin warns you. Right. I don't get why Kankri would ban me from telling you about Aridin. You said we were friends before. Is that true? You ask, since you hadn't been compelling him to be truthful then.
I'm pale for you. We're in a relationship, Cobb. What happened to you? You're not like yourself. My Cobb would never do this to me.
Eridan insists and points at his arm. What? Rose demands from the other end of the room. You feel kind of bad about this. If someone that you trusted did this to you, then you'd hate it. If you're really in a relationship, then it wouldn't be a million miles away from how you'd feel if Solix forgot you and then cursed the shit out of you the moment he saw you, even if he was trying to protect himself to do it. You feel...
Hold up. I saw that. What is your relationship with Karkat? I'm not asking how you feel. You said you're pale. What's your actual relationship?
Matuna asks, interrupting your thoughts. Eridan grits his teeth but coughs a little when you stare at him.
Fine. We're friends, but that's only because anything more was too dangerous. I know that. I know he felt the same.
Eridan snaps, purplish blood-tinged spit on his teeth.
Oh. Wait, I think Karkat said that he never had a Moirail, or that he never accepted anyone's offer. Ha! Okay, fine. Look, we need to... KK.
Solix is trying to drag your attention away from Eridan, but you're too busy trying to work out if Eridan is managing to hide anything else from you. Solix grabs hold of your attention quite firmly when he does the same to your hair, pulling it to make you look at him.
Get your hands off of him!
Eridan hisses, jerking towards Solix and cringing back as his vow likely warns him about how bad of an idea it'd be to lay his hands on Solix out of anger. All of that being said, you're not okay with Solix pulling your hair. Or maybe, but not in public. Who knows, in private? You hadn't considered it. So you respond by reasonably getting your wings out and slapping his whole body off of you with them.
How dare you?
Eridan demands. He's my kismesis, you explain simply.
He's a demon!
Eridan shrieks.
He also got a date with Karkat, which you didn't.
Solix says with cheerful malice from the floor. You smack him with your wing again. You're going to need to preen your feathers after this, but that's fine. Eridan starts trying to say some very hurtful things, and then has to pause to cough into his shirt sleeve and totally ruin the fabric with blood.
I used to be fun.
Matuna says morosely and looks at you.
Adopting you has aged me like 10,000 years. Stop antagonizing this idiot and that bigot, and let's get out of here before anyone finds us, okay?
You can't make out the words that Eridan is trying to protest, but they're mean, so the outcome is much the same. Matuna gets up and pulls you to your feet, taking a moment to check that you're okay.
We're going to fly back. I'll hide us, because otherwise I'll have a bitch of a time keeping track of you. Thing 2 down here can teleport everyone else back.
Matuna tells you, kicking Solix in the leg lightly since he's still on the floor. Okay, I can do that. You agree, as Matuna absently straightens up your scarf and watches Eridan shakily get to his feet.
I think I know you. Or Cronus did.
Eridan says slowly.
I'm kind of a big deal. Follow me on Twitch.
Matuna says, with a smug little grin on his face.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Just follow me on Twitch.
Well, I'm drooling on my
Matuna's
head.
such a little shitlord. I love him so much.
This is the biggest shitlord, Your Honor. He invented being a shitlord. Oh, water. I love Matuna, but doing his voice is just grating.
Yeah, as a car cat speaker, I feel you.
Cronus had portraits of every angel that he made fall. I think I recognize you.
Aridin says, and then he says Matuna's name. His original angelic name. You hurt. You hurt to hear it, to imagine Matuna, who never did anything wrong, suddenly being cast out for love of all things. The pain of falling, the loss of his family, of your family, his exile. The idea that anyone could be proud of contributing to that, could have found out what Matuna was doing and reported on it to make this fall happen is beyond evil. How could anyone do that? Matuna jerks you back from a lunge you don't remember making and holds you to his chest as you sob. How could anyone hurt or control him? He's your family, and someone should have protected him like someone should have been protecting you. Aridin says he's your friend, but if he can see that and not feel like this, then you don't understand him at all. Matuna's telling you that he's fine, that you're okay, he's okay, it was ages ago. Nothing good could cause that kind of pain. You stop shaking, and eventually you can look around. Your friends are gone, but Matuna and Solix are still here. Solix must have taken them home.
You probably need to wind that vow down a little, kid. This is why we didn't want you making them. You're not totally stable yet.
Matuna tells you gently and rubs your back, though you don't know why he'd say that. You look the other way and see that Solix is now leaning over and looking down with a wince of pain on his face. The walls around him are very purple, so is the ceiling too, and the furniture a bit.
It stopped.
Solix says uneasily.
He's a seraphim. It takes more than that, unfortunately. Take Carcat for me.
Matuna says, and Solix comes over to you.
Hey, you probably don't want to look at that.
Solix warns you as Matuna changes places with him. You watch anyway as Matuna picks up Aridin. He's drenched in blood and faintly groaning, though you don't remember how that happened. There's a lot of it. Did I do that? That's a lot of... How? You whisper.
Don't think about it. I'm trying not to. Sorry, loss of blood kind of puts me on edge.
Can you do the puts me on edge one more time?
Puts me on edge.
Solix admits quietly. Your heart aches for him. You know just why that is. His whole history is awful.
Oh, okay, you're getting pinged for me, Matuna, but this isn't clicking still. Right, whatever, let's go home.
Solix says, more to himself than to you. You put your hand on the edge of an armchair and it goes squish under your touch. Lifting up your hand, you see purple blood well up around your fingers and staining your palm. Aridin's blood. You did this. It happened because he hurt Matuna. Did this hurt? It must have hurt Aridin, right? Does he feel... Is it like when Matuna fell, pain that you don't get the luxury of dying from? Did you do that? You did. You hurt him. You did something terrible, didn't you? You did this to protect everyone, but it still hurt him. You hadn't thought of that before. You didn't think it'd be the same. Aridin spoke your other name to save you from pain because he knew that would happen, but you didn't connect that the experience would be the same. Did you hurt him as badly as Heaven hurt Matuna when they made him fall? Was this evil? No, you need to think about this. Logically, Aridin is untrustworthy. He's an angel. Maybe he could have been your friend, and it seems like he helped you get a better name, and he tried to help you before. He would absolutely kill your friends. You can't allow that. They're your friends. Look what Cankry did to you, after all. Heaven does all sorts of things to people. Like control them. Up from your bloodied hand, you can see the vow on your arm. The vow you made.
KK, look at me. Not at your hand. At me. I'm here.
Solix says, his voice calm and even as he moves you to look at him. I made this happen, you say slowly.
You're doing this, making it happen. Did you know that Dave draws terrible comics? You get to see them all over again. You know that?
Solix says, actively stopping you from looking around. It doesn't stop you thinking, even as Solix talks on about things that Dave draws, trying to distract you. You tricked Eridan into this, into agreeing. You thought you were protecting yourself and the others, but...
This will be a valuable lesson for him about vows then, won't it?
Oh no. If Cankry agrees, then you're not sure that you did the right thing at all. Eridan said that you'd never have done this, but you did, so who are you? You shudder, and your form falls apart into something else, though Solix catches you.
Okay, we can do this. Let's go back.
Solix says softly and strokes your feathers. He turns away from the bloodied room and tucks you into his open hoodie and zips it up enough to keep you securely in place. Matuna asks about you, and Solix explains, pulling back the fabric enough to show you, but you keep your eyes shut. You don't want to think about anything right now. Solix takes you back home. You stay tucked into his hoodie, your little claws holding onto his shirt and your feathers rubbing against the inside of his hoodie. Rose is removed from your dorm... Rose is removed from your dorm to stay with Dave and Matuna. Damn it.
Do you want me to switch in?
Yeah. Can you
Rose
switch in
is removed
from the Solix takes you home?
Oh yeah, can do. Celix takes you back home. You stay tucked into his hoodie, your little claws holding onto his shirt, and your feathers rubbing against the inside of his hoodie. Rose is removed from your dorm to stay with Dave, and Matuna keeps watch over Eridan. Celix takes you back into your room and tries talking to you, but you can't focus on him. You're being over dramatic, like you always are. Cankry sighs and leans against the rings, keeping him caged in.
I don't think I am.
You insist. You feel like you're probably underreacting, if anything. You shouldn't be attacking Eridan at all, and I do not approve of him getting you out of things this way. But quite honestly, if he hasn't learned this lesson already, then it's well past time that he should, Cankry said simply.
I hurt him.
You say, and shudder at the feel of blood on your skin still. A valuable teaching tool. Your former maker shrugs.
You're a teaching tool.
You hiss. I do too. He sure is a tool that teaches. I've been trying so hard to be more professional this time, and I just can't stop from laughing.
The laughter is great. The laughter brings joy.
The laughter brings joy. Celix would approve of that, but Cankry only gives you a bored and unimpressed look.
I shouldn't have done that to him.
You say quietly. If you hadn't, would everyone have died? Would he have given you to Cronus? Why was he looking for you? Does he really pity you? Why was it okay for you to do... I can read. Why was it okay for you to do that this time and not for Cankry to do it? Your ring of endless questions is painful right now. A valid question, Cankry muses, and the thought catches. That drive to question chasing the lead onwards and onwards. You learnt it from Cancri, didn't you? So are you any better? Or are you him? Are you the person that you were before? Is the real Karkat dead? How are you going to tell people that? Will everyone hate you?
Stop it.
You whine, clutching at your head. Is it a little harder to throw around accusations when you're actually having to live a life, Karkat? You're no better than I am, Cancri tells you smugly.
You were complete. You'd been alive for longer than me.
You try to insist, but you can see the flaws in your own words even as you say them. I'm very sure that I've been watching you insist that you're perfectly competent, as you are, he says immediately. You don't like this at all. Does he actually think that, or is he just trying to make this as unpleasant as possible so you let him go? Unless, of course, you're talking about the decision to make you at all. And as we were the same person, then it would be more accurate to say that we made that decision. And Cancri has to stop for a second as the ring around you both goes on. He overrode he overrode us, didn't he? Well, I know how to inflection.
I think actually I will do this part in Karkat's voice, since this is his question ring going.
Okay.
He overrode us, didn't he? Didn't he? Or were we part of that decision? You don't like this either. Maybe you just lost, is all? Is that it? So is that who we are now? Me, you, him, us?
How confident are you about casting that first stone, Karkat? Not so free of sin after all, hmm? I forgot that I was being the narrator.
Another another reading hallmark.
We're doing our best. Cancri smiles at you. You can't be here. Thankfully, the hands around your little bird body shift. It's enough to physical. It's enough. Let me try this again. You can't be here. Thankfully, the hands around your little bird body shift. It's enough physical sensation to help you pull yourself away from everything going on inside of you. The world around you moves, and you can feel the wind around you and the chill of the air. You're tucked up on a chest, and you can both hear spoken words externally and feel the vibration of them. The end.
The end.
The end. I love the idea of Celix just holding itty bitty bird cat. Bird cat, bird cat, bird cat.
Someone in the server did a great picture of Karkat as a duck. It was just like, hold Karkat gently, like Burger.
Like burger,
Hold like
please.
Burger. I think of that. I think of that
Wait,
picture
wait,
a lot.
wait. Okay, okay, dang. I cosplay as Karkat, but also I have ducks. So just Karkat gently hold bird like burger. I mean, I do also plan on eventually cosplaying as Celix. So, Celix gently hold duck like Borger.
Solix gently Burger Duck.
Borger duck.
Borger Duck. Borger Duck.
Borger
When
duck.
the angel's too tired to give a fuck.
Wow. I know how to read. No, I don't. That's a
Me
lie.
too. I'm the best at reading. I've never made an error constantly.
I've never made an error, not once in my life.
I've never done anything wrong, Your Honor.
I know this, and I love you.
I love you.
I love you, random citizen. Ooh.
Wonderful. Well, everybody have a great time. We're gonna go exist.
We exist outside of streams?
Last I checked.
Gasp. I had no idea. No one told me.